Good morning, everyone. I know it's a very early start from what we normally do, but we forgot we have another engagement this afternoon. So I wanted to get out here and get you guys a couple hours of live stream early. We are in Baltimore and we are looking live at the site. Chesapeake 1000 back on site with what appears to be some heavy slinging material hanging from that block. It's begun. You guys know that I'm no stranger to the weather up here in Baltimore. It may not be an issue. It's not terrible. Picking up a little bit, you guys can probably hear it on the tent. Do not adjust the audio. It's just the weather.
Inbound Curtis Creek, stall 33.
I'll tell you what we have seen so far today. We saw a barge load of containers pass by the site while we were setting up, and then also a car carrier. Great news for those guys that are in here working in Baltimore. Things are slowly returning to normal. It's going to take a little while. We all get that. We all understand that. But you guys are here with us live. 183 of you joining us awfully early this morning. Thanks for being up. Show you guys a little bit of what's going on out here. Again, the Chesapeake's in position. The Baltimore crane is there. Doesn't look like they're involved in anything. Kind of got the block. Looks like kind of secured there for a little bit. Looks like maybe the Brian Nichols tug on the move behind the Baltimore. And other than that, it's quiet. It's a quiet day out here. Not a lot going on that way. Not a lot going on over that way. We'll come back and look at the crane booms and see if we can identify anybody in the mix. I don't see the Dale Pyatt. Or do I? Is that the Dale Pyatt back there? We'll have to try to pull it up on AIS. But the Chesapeake is back on site. And it looks like, I don't know, they're in the area of where they might be doing some lifting here. Hopefully we will see something. If you guys watched the video last night, we did see the dolly. The dolly has dropped back to another area there at the port. It's not where it was originally taken. They moved it like to the next set of cranes And when we came by, we did not see any of the container cranes down. Those cranes were still in the up position, which I don't think they have begun to try to engage any of those containers aboard. The Weeks 533 was there, but we didn't see any movement when we were passing by with the boom. From what we understand, they're going to be there in port for a while. Maybe a month, maybe a little more. All right, just looking around here on AIS this morning, the Dale Piat is back over at the Trade Point area, over at HQ, if you will, that area where they've been processing all the material, all the steel that's been coming off. That's the unloading point. Dale Piat is back over there this morning, so not out here at the site. And we're scanning channels here. It's pretty quiet. Very quiet morning here in Baltimore. Guys, we do have the Minorcan Mullet. The boat is here in Baltimore, and hopefully we're going to get the boat back in the water. I would like to get up to the ship this weekend, maybe as quick as tomorrow. Be able to get you guys some fresh video. Live streaming from the boat can be a challenge, but if we can get cell service up there, we're going to try it. We're going to see if we can do a live, but we certainly will have some photography and some video when we get up there. Bernard, thank you for joining us. Good morning. Wayne's telling us that he's seeing the 533 doing some work up, I guess off of stream time. David, it's kind of hard to get in and stream on the ship. Let me tell you why. You're on port property, and that's restricted area. If anybody that is doing actually any streaming of what's going on up there, I haven't heard of them. You got to get creative. I'm a pretty creative guy, so we'll see what we can do. Hopefully tomorrow we'll be able to get you guys some video, and possibly if we can get service on the boat, we'll try to go live. I hope that answers your question. We have found that working on the boat, we kind of gravitate. That's where we cut our teeth down in Georgia when the Golden Ray turned over. You guys that have been with me since those days, and if you've just joined us and had the opportunity to go back and look at our playlist back from Georgia, you know, when it started off, we were working with a cell phone. We were learning, but I think we got the hang of it after a little bit. So if you guys get in there and think, this is horrible, stick around. The imagery gets much better on the Golden Ray series. Yeah, it's a little hazy, little scattered rain is falling here. Andy, good morning. It's an early day for us, we've got an event to attend this afternoon. Actually, should have been there at 8 o'clock this morning. But hey, Andy Long, good morning. But I told you guys we're going to try to get you guys some more live in here. Big news so far from what we've seen. Chesapeake 1000 on site. I think the Chessie was moved out, back out to the site yesterday afternoon. She is back on site, and she looks like she's got some pretty serious rigging material hanging from the block. Thank you guys for being here with us. Was not expecting a great attendance here in the live stream, simply because it is so early. Now yesterday we saw the crews working in or around that span. We saw some rigging materials being laid down, and I want you guys that have the capability with bigger monitors to look at the top right hand corner of that span. Is that the chain that we saw them swing over yesterday afternoon? Is that the chain that's been, looks like it's kind of dangling down there? It looked like anchor chain when they swung it over. Is that what we're looking at there this morning? I think it might be. It's really hard for me to tell. From my location here. Thanks, Andy. Oh yeah, okay, all right, we got. So maybe they're in the process. Maybe we'll see the Chesapeake attempt to lift on this piece of material. If they were going to rig something to pick that up, something of any, it's going to be something of a pretty substantial size, and that anchor chain would certainly fit the bill. Now I want to check the AIS again and see. You know, yesterday when the guys were working, they kind of had to suspend their operation a little bit to allow the Teal Arrow, that cargo ship, to pass by. They had to relocate assets on the site. And I'm wondering, since we have seen a couple different vessels in there, is there anything else inbound or outbound? I don't see anything that would make me believe that there was a ship outbound. Most of the tugs look like they're now heading back to tie up. Don't see anything, so maybe that means we'll see some. I do see what appears to be well, if I can find it again, the Thomas Witt, which was that's a Don John asset. That's one of their tugs. It looks like it is outbound. Can't see if it, of course, looking on AIS, can't see if it's pushing a barge or anything. But that tug looks like it's outbound. If we see something out here this morning, I hope it starts to happen quick. because if it doesn't, we are not going to have a lot to see. Looks like they may be moving the Chesapeake. Maybe see the boom swinging a little bit, or actually the block. Are they repositioning it? Hey Alex, yeah, I saw that weather when I headed out this morning to make my way over to Dundalk to get set up, and a couple raindrops hit the windshield. I thought, uh-oh. And I took a quick look at the radar, and I could see that it looked like there was some weather. We were just on the southern tail of that weather that's north, from what I could see on my screen. We say that, and as I look now to the southeast, there's more. This building just northwest of Richmond may be heading this way. And it looks like it may be building with some of that ugly stuff in it. Now I'm wondering, guys, what's going through my head right now is
Oyster Bay. Yeah, we're moving back on location where we were yesterday.
how much of that span is there? Have they cut it underneath the water? That looks like a pretty substantial piece to me. Raindrops picking up again here a little bit. Still waiting to see if something takes place here today with the Chesapeake. Guys, thanks for joining us. Still watching the cleanup here at the bridge site. Brian Nichols on the move. Another weather day, it looks like, for the crews out here working on the site. From what it looks like, I'm glad we got out here early to be able to try to get you guys at least a little bit of live from what's going on. Because this afternoon, it may pick up. Looks like it might Might be a little weather heading this way. We're getting a little rain now, but that stuff that looks like it's down to the southwest heading this way may be a little stronger. Yeah, the ship is now back in Port of Baltimore.
Yeah, you copy that, Doug?
Resolve is continuing to work on the ship. They actually have it at one of the container berths here in Dundalk. We're hoping to be able to get you guys some better. I've got a plan, and it involves a boat. And if any of you guys are familiar with the channel, you know, that's where I got started. I got started on the water, filming on the water, and that's what I like to do. It'll be great to get back in my element. I love the hospitality that Rob and Robin have shown us here, and be able to bring you guys some really fantastic videos from this location. But it might be time to move back and start working where we know we work best. What we do best is on the water. Thank you guys for joining us. Here from Baltimore today. It definitely looks like the Chesapeake has been doing some movement there. At least the block has been moving. I tell you guys what's been back out when we got here and started to set up, and that are the mosquitoes. We had to lather back up with the repellent. Well, from what we've been hearing from our other members here that are watching Stream Time Live, they're kind of seeing some movement with the 533. The trouble with the camera is we got rain showers kind of moving through the area. We're having a little bit of weather this morning, so the image is not great. I can tell you that from where they originally berthed the dolly, they have moved it down to another area there, another unloading spot. Dan, thank you so much. And none of those cranes that they used to unload those containers in port were deployed. The cranes were still in the up position. They weren't in that horizontal position that we see those cranes when they're using the spreader down to unload those containers. So it definitely looks like we got a little movement now going on in that corner of the span. Are they attaching that rigging to it? Is that what's going on? Timmy, I think you're right. I think they may be working on getting this piece of span up today. And that's certainly, it's the last big piece that is visible to us. Can't say for what's underneath the water, but that's the last big piece we see visible that's coming out of the water that's got to come up. And it does look like Chessie has a good bit of ballast in those ballast tanks at the stern of that barge. We don't see any other container ships in now. We did see early this morning a barge that came by stacked with containers headed in. Thanks, Wayne. We know that the Dale Pyatt crew from Cashman has been working on that roadway a lot. You know, just thinking ahead here, what may be going on is they're maybe trying to level up that piece a little bit before they rig it to pick it up. Maybe that's what's going on. They want to pull that low side up a little bit to get it leveled out, and then work on rigging it from there. You're watching it with us live. Just over 1,000 of you joining us here this morning. Good morning live from Baltimore. It is 8 o'clock. We came on about 30 minutes ago. And we may see the start of a heavy lift going on here today. A 1,000 tons, Timmy, on the Chesapeake 1000. I think that crane is equipped to pick up that section of span if it's not a lot more attached down low. I'm sure that the guys that are engineering the lift have looked at it and they know. And we've seen the Chesapeake pick up some big pieces of bridge span out here. I know I've seen the number 400 feet wide and a depth down to 48 feet on the channel. There's still some debris to get cleaned up. Thanks, John. John's saying that they're seeing the 533 move a little bit, doing some work down at the dolly. If in fact that is the plan, to try to rotate that piece a little bit before they lift it, I expect we're going to see the dolly, or excuse me, the Chesapeake, we're going to see the bow of that start to come down when they start that process, start that lift. If that's the plan. Looks like we may see that cutter being swung over. Looks like they're heading down with it. This could get interesting.
Moving up right now.
Thanks so much for you guys joining us here. 1,200 of you here with us live. The Chessie looks like she may be working on a partial lift. Derek, those two, it looks like over on the side, that's, you guys remember yesterday we saw them swinging that chain over. And that chain, they may need that chain to adjust the rigging to try to level out that piece, if that is in fact what they're going to do. It looks like they've got that wire cutter going up on a boom. I think that's the ferrule. Pretty good view of it there. You guys are here with us and we're watching it live. Shell Marie, thank you. Good morning. Dan, thank you. And that may be, you know, we've seen them lift some big pieces, and we've also seen them work on trimming them down to remove some weight. Bass, I think that's exactly what it is up there on the backside. For whatever the process is going to be, we've got a pretty good view of what's going to happen. Look to me yet that the Chesapeake has taken a lot of load. It looks like they want to put that cutter into play. I think we're still here with you. We're just watching. We're still watching. Good morning, Gorilla. Thank you for joining us. Again, for those guys that just joined us, we looked at the AIS this morning and didn't see any inbound and outbound traffic at the moment, which is a great sign. It means these guys might be able to get in. Gives them a little window to maybe get in and quite possibly get a piece of this span cut. Very well could be a cross brace that they're going to cut. They're being very careful in there, maneuvering that wire cutter into position. Now I wonder, do they have to secure that cutter at all? Do they have any tag lines or anything they have to come off that with to maybe keep that device from spinning around? Wow, it looks like they're really in close proximity to the lifting point and to where that cutter's headed. Yeah, Dave, that's funny. Thank you. I appreciate that, you guys. Good morning. I know a lot of you guys are thinking right now, why not shape charges? Why don't we just cut this with some shape charges? I thought about that too, but then I looked at the Chesapeake, and that, you know, something to support it being so close, and we did. When we saw that detonation, we saw some debris that was moving away from that span when it was cut at pretty high velocity. Once I get everything moved in position, we'll try to zoom in a little bit. We got a cloudy day here in Baltimore. We've had rain move in, move out, but it is cloudy. We don't get a lot of sun, and that affects our imagery. Does that help any guys? I don't want to get in so much that you guys start to lose clarity. So is that cutter now straddling that piece of beam? I guess we'll find out just how long it takes to cut a piece of that material, because it definitely, to me, looks like they've now gotten that cutter straddled over that piece of beam. Morning, Christine. You know, when I watch this, guys, one of the big things that goes through my head is what kind of maintenance is necessary for this operation to take place. The cutters, the cranes, the rigging, all that has to be taken into consideration. I'm sure it takes a little while to cut through. It's a big beam. You guys know how big that material is out there by now. I did not see any torch work yesterday. I didn't see any guys. Now we saw personnel up in the man lift, the personnel basket there. I didn't see any torch work at all. I don't think any pre-cutting was done. Did you guys? Were you guys able to see any of that? Any torch work going on yesterday? I didn't see any. Yeah, I didn't see any torches at all. $1,500 of you here with us. Thanks, guys. Appreciate y'all joining us here today. We're watching the Chesapeake moved back out to the site yesterday afternoon, and it looks like they have rigged a piece of the corner of that span, and they've lowered the cutter down onto that span, and we may see some cutting operations take place here. Russell, that's if you've got the ability to watch a 2-monitor setup to be able to watch both streams, probably paints you a lot better picture of what's going on. Stream time live on the other side of the bridge. They've improved their stream considerably.
Okay, I'm connected.
Don, good morning.
All right. All right, Eric, we're all set. Start.
So it looks like they're engaging in some cutting. How long does it take for that cutter to get through the beam, guys? Have any of you watched and timed it? I have not.
Okay, we're
I think that's a wire cutter, Kevin. Somehow that contraption is able to keep tension on the wire, and it looks like it's operated. We can see some, I could see some lines, it look like some hoses, so maybe it's hydraulically operated. Jax, I haven't heard any additional plans for any charges. They're cutting it right now
You guys hear me?
with the wire cutter. Okay. Walter's kicking in saying that's a hydraulic demolition shear, so maybe it just closes up and shears it. It does look kind of small for a shear. We're going to be here with you guys for a little while today. We've got an engagement this afternoon.
Straight ahead, 300.
Thanks, Dean, for joining us. I know the last time we saw this cutter being used, you guys remember they were putting water on it. That's what led me to believe it was a wire saw. I'm going to go with wire.
It's looking good. It's looking good as long as we don't fall too far to the north. We could just readjust when we get there. We're trying to get to 140.
Looks like a barge coming into view.
We already have the north, so if we could just try not to fall any more to the north. And we got about 110 ahead. Alright, I'm kind of just gripped and we're just going to have to make do when we get there. Okay.
No, that is a crane. Let's check and see. Maybe the Oyster Bay.
$75 ahead.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing there is the Oyster Bay.
$60. No.
Yeah, John, seeing it looks like they got a lift there and maybe have some personnel in the area of where that rigging is coming down from the Chesapeake.
Speed. Just let her drift.
Thanks, Kenneth. That's what we've seen in the past. They'll put
All right, stern to the south, stern south.
Mike, good morning. Thanks for joining us. Jack's joining us from New Zealand. Thank you, guys. Just over 1,700 of you here with us.
Three more feet.
We're seeing the Chesapeake 1000. Looks like it's being rigged on a piece of that bridge span. Looks like they've maneuvered a cutter into position over the beam.
$35.
Tim, good morning. Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
I'm sorry, what? Yeah, you got 35 more feet.
I haven't seen a drone. I've seen some
Hey,
birds.
you think we're going to be good here? Or you think we got to come ahead a little more? Yeah. We went all stop again. Good? You all good? Okay, let her drift. Right, bow to the south, bow south.
You guys have been with us watching this morning. Can appreciate the experts that are out here and just maneuvering equipment into position is a task. Getting everything set up to make one cut is a feat in itself.
What are we doing now?
So just in this process right here, it's like 1, 2, the oyster bays moved into position here, so maybe 3 cranes necessary for this maneuver.
Coming down. Okay, bows down, all set.
Closing in on 2,000 here on the stream this morning. Thank you guys for joining us here. If you're just joining us, what we've got going on here, the Chesapeake 1000 has been rigged to a piece of the span. They've lowered a wire cutter onto the beam. They have also repositioned the oyster bay. Thank you, Bill. Thanks for joining us. Don John crews on site, still working to get the debris out of the channel area. The last big hurdle that is visible is this piece of span. This is the piece of span that was laying across the bow of the dolly. We saw them detonate some shape charges on this to separate that material. Dolly's since been moved back into Dundalk. Work continues with these crews to continue clearing the rest of the debris that's still in the channel. Now the channel has been opened up. They've got a pretty good opening there, down to I think 48 feet. There's still some more work, still some more debris that's got to be moved, but they have made some tremendous progress. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate the words. Thank you very much. A lot of work that still has to continue, not only here where we're watching, but back up at the berth where the dolly's been taken. Resolve continuing that process. The Weeks 533 crane is up at the dolly. That's a Resolve asset. Michael, thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, Gillett, I would have to agree. I haven't heard any report on the claw on Gus. Someone said that they were working on it. I'm not sure what the problem is. Gus has been doing a lot of work. Maybe it's maintenance time. Brenner, Tiger, thank you guys for being in here with us. These guys make my job a lot easier when you have some really good moderators manning the chat, and makes things, they make my job a heck of a lot easier. Thank you guys so much. I really enjoy being here with you guys. And what's really neat to me is how much you guys help out in the chat. You guys see things I don't see. And again, thank you so much. It doesn't look like the Chesapeake has a lot of lift on this piece. I'm sure they have a little tension on it, but it doesn't look like, when you look at those main lines coming back to the back boom, it looks like they've got a little sag in them. At least it does from what we're seeing here. Oyster Bay continuing to work with that clamshell, pulling up debris. From now what appears to be down in front of that span. We knew that once the dolly got moved, that the process would really kick into high gear. It gives crews so much more access. Once the ship was gone, they're able to reposition their cranes, get things in the position they weren't able to access while the ship was in place. Glenn, thank you for joining us. Work continues. It's even with the ship gone, there's still a lot of work to be done here. we'll remind you guys, in the evening we try to get a 4K video posted from the activities that we're seeing during our lives. It's a little bit better imagery. And a lot of times some of the details that you may have missed during the live stream are really visible on that. We modify that. We speed that video up to compress all the time we were here for, a couple, 3 hours, sometimes more, into 10 minutes. Thanks, Steve. John, thank you. Thank you again for everything you do. Big supporter of the channel. We certainly appreciate that. Thank you so much. The blue stars I see going by in the chat, those folks have joined us with memberships. Guys, thank you so much. Greg, that's a good question. Once I get this cut, how much down low will come up? Very congested and busy work site. John, thanks for joining us from Amelia Island. You're pretty close to home there. I enjoy my visits down in Fernandina. Thanks for joining us. Jack, I think there's a pretty good chance that they're going to repair the dolly and put her back in the service. Now, it's going to be interesting to see the future for the dolly. That's for sure. Diane, I can't think of a better way. You're getting two views from both sides of the operation, and I think we both complement each other very nicely. Streamtime Live done a great job of what they do from their site, and of course, who can forget the images of March 26th from that Streamtime camera. You guys are with us live from Baltimore, where we are continuing to watch the cleanup of the Francis Scott Key Bridge following the collapse of the bridge span when the dolly struck it. Don John Group working here, resolve, now back up river. The dolly's berthed. They do have the Weeks 533 crane up there, and it looks like it's been moving from what we understand. So Resolve still working to finish the cleanup, finish the work necessary to get temporary repairs done to the ship, and then they'll move the ship away. I am not sure where it will go. I have heard estimates that the ship will be in Baltimore for a while, maybe 4 to 6 weeks. I've heard that number. Good morning, Teresa. Thank you for being with us. Good morning. We got you out of bed early today. Thank you for joining us from over in Texas. That's a big piece of span still in the water. And if they were to try to rig that whole thing, it would be a massive lift. And then the next question is, what do you do when you get it up? Maybe they're trimming it up to get it down to a more manageable size, and then maybe we'll see them try to lift a very large piece of it. But right now it looks like they're trying to cut. They're on the left-hand side. Chesapeake 1000's rigged to that. They've got a wire cutter that's up there. All this is taking place this morning. And we did see some preliminary work with some rigging that took place yesterday during our live. You guys that are with us, thanks for joining us. 1,700 of you here with us. Folks kind of bouncing in and out of the stream this morning, watching. Watching because they want to understand the process. Just like us, every day we come out in video, we are amazed at what we see. Good bit of debris coming up in the claw of the clamshell bucket. Had a little bit of rain move through this morning. Wasn't much, but from what we saw with the weather radar, there's more coming.
I guess I'll take a couple guys
Hit in there or what? Hey, what's up in the galley there, man?
No, Teresa, I have not had breakfast yet this morning.
You ready on the galley, Will?
I was so anxious to get out here and give you guys something. I got a long day today.
That's Dave and Ray.
We're hoping to get the boat back in the water, hopefully as soon as tomorrow, and be able to bring you guys some better video and images of the dolly. Continuing to watch here. As it looks like Don John's crews are in the process of cutting a piece off the corner of that span. See a recreational boat going across. Good to see the recreational boaters now able to access past the site. That's good news for us as well. But with Memorial Day coming up and this being such a huge boating area, I'm sure that a lot of people want to get on the water for Memorial Day. Andy Long, thank you so much. Definitely will do that. Missing you up here. Thanks a lot, Andy. Some cookies would be nice. Diane, yeah, they got some plans. As a matter of fact, over at the cruise terminal, it's where they kind of had the setup with the unified command entities. They've moved out of those areas, back at their respective offices, still kind of working together, but not all together in the same area. But they moved out of those areas over there at the cruise terminal, so that they can start making preparations for the cruise ships. Do you guys remember when we saw the Weeks 533 pull that piece? It was a three-legged piece, and one piece of it had to be down in the ship, had gone down through the deck, because when they pulled it, it was so much longer than the other legs. That piece had just been kind of hanging up there after the charges. And what a big lift that was. Chet, yeah, all the workers who were up on the bridge, they brought all those guys home. We made a trip up to the Workers' Memorial up at Fort Armistead here in Baltimore, and had an opportunity to meet with some of the friends of those guys that lost their lives up there, and it's very interesting. We're glad we did it, and we're glad we were able to get that and bring that to you guys, show you that video. The cranes that we see involved in this operation right now seem to be the Chesapeake and the Farrell. The Oyster Bay is there with the clam, and then we do have what appears one moving out. Not sure which one that was.
Down. All right, bows down.
I think that's one of the crawler cranes on the backside that you may be seeing there. Cindy, that's a good question. You know, I don't know of any discussions that have gone on with the Maryland Transit Authority about the bridge destruction or construction. Bumblebee. The captain designation is from my time with the Civil Air Patrol. I was a mission pilot with the Civil Air Patrol with the U.S. Air Force Auxiliary. But I have spent my entire life on the water. Marge, the crane that does, we'll try to pan over here and take a look at that. I think that is this crane right over here that's been working the debris with the weight. I think that's the crane, and I don't have a designation for that. That crane's been working in conjunction with the Dale Pyatt a lot, breaking up that road base by dropping that weight on it. It doesn't look like they're in operation today. That does look like Ed. I think that is Ed over there. Edward Scissorhands. We've been with you guys here live for about an hour and 45 minutes. We do have another engagement we got to get to this afternoon. We've got to travel south. So we wanted to get in here early. I wanted to be able to give you guys a little bit of the live of what's going on. And we've seen quite a bit of activity here at the site today. Looks like we got a man lift that's in play now. Looks like we got a man lift coming up. Just to the left of that clamshell, we can see the boom. It looks like it's being maneuvered. Oh, that was, yeah, massive piece of equipment. That would take quite a barge. That would take quite a barge to support that piece of equipment. Thanks, Matthew. Thanks, Greg.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay, roger that. Alright, see you later. That's fine.
Sophie, good morning. Thanks for joining us here today. Chef Civvy is here with us, and always a pleasure to see her. She does some really great things over there on her channel. If you're hungry, don't go there. Don't go to her channel, that's for sure. Derek, definitely that man lift has gone up to the area of the cutter. Well, Alan, we saw that chain being pulled up the day before the dolly was moved. We never saw an anchor. Never saw an anchor come up. I'm not saying that the anchor's still down there, but we never saw it come up from the time that we were out here. Maybe the anchor is still down there. Maybe that'll be recovered later.
We're gonna go back up.
Thanks, Wayne. I would suspect what they did was cut the chain at the anchor, pulled the chain up, and then got the anchor pulled up. That's what I would have imagined happened.
All right.
I'm sure somebody knows, Marge, how much chain was deployed. Keep in mind, they were, according to the NTSB report, they were never able to get the brake set to dog off that winch up there on the anchor chain. They had to abandon that area of the ship when the collapse started. So from wherever they dropped it to wherever they stopped, that much played out. It looks like the man lift is retreating. From the cutter. Maybe they need to go back and get some vice grips or something. I don't know. Phil, I haven't gotten into the actual crabs, but I tell you what I have gotten into is the crab stew, the creamy crab stew. Every restaurant you go to has their own twist to the recipe. I haven't had one that was bad, but I do enjoy the Maryland crab stew here, the creamy style. They make two different kinds here. They've got a tomato, kind of a tomato type, which I know from what I've heard is very good. I just can't get past the creamy version. The place that I'm familiar with is Jimmy's Famous Seafood. Wow, they do a tremendous job up there. Crab soup, Tom, thank you. Crab soup. I don't think, maybe Bumblebee missed what I said. My title of captain came from my time as a mission pilot with the Civil Air Patrol, with the U.S. Air Force Auxiliary. I was a mission pilot for the Civil Air Patrol. I'm a pilot, and I was involved with the Civil Air Patrol and attained the rank of captain in that organization as a mission pilot. Thank you. Hope that clears that up for you. But a lot of time on the water. A lot of time on the water growing up. Commercial fishing. They're in my area of Georgia, St. Simon's Island. Many days on the water. Greg Phillips Seafood. All right, we'll give that a shot. Looks like we're going to be here for a little while longer. Albert, we're expecting to see some cruise ships here. Matter of fact, I think somebody said that don't we have some cruise ships on the docket for this weekend? Did I see that in the chat yesterday? Doug, I don't know what they would have done with the anchor, but I would expect that the dolly would want their anchor back. If it was recovered, which they're saying it has. We got some great insight from our other members here in the Minorcan Navy. We got some saying that, yeah, that anchor was recovered. If it was in fact recovered, I would think that the dolly would want that anchor back. I certainly would. No, I'm flying commercial. I am flying commercial. Terry, what is hanging on the right side of the bucket? Right side of the bucket. Terry, are you talking about the wire cutter that's there on the beam? Is that? I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly. I think if the anchor is still down in that channel, keep in mind this channel has to be maintained. It has to be dredged. It has a maintenance schedule. That anchor will be recovered if it is still in fact down in the riverbed. See, Richard, thank you. Yeah, cruise ships are expected to be here in Port of Baltimore this weekend. I'm seeing the man lift up, and it's not moving towards the cutter. I'm wondering if they're just trying to observe it. Are they trying to give some feedback back to the operators? Almost 2,000 of you here with us. Thank you guys so much for joining us, spending your time with us. You guys invest a good bit of time with us. We like to try to be able to give you guys some decent imagery. I hope you guys are getting it on your end as good as what we're seeing here today. Thank you guys for being a part of the Minorcan Navy. And watching what's going on here in Baltimore. Lee, if I was on the dolly and I was leaving port, I would want to make sure I had 2 functioning anchors. Not sure that's going to be the case though. There's a lot of damage on the bow of that ship with I'm sure some of the lifting capabilities of the anchor system. A lot of damage on that ship. But if I was leaving, I would want to have a functioning anchor for sure. At least one, really like to have 2. Civvy, thanks. Have a great day. Thanks for joining us. Joshua, thank you. Thank you for joining us down from Jacksonville. Michael's here with us from Green Bay. You guys, thanks for joining us. Live in Baltimore. We're watching the Chesapeake 1000 attached to a piece of that bridge span that's still visible. They put a cutter on it, and it looks like they've been working on it. We're still watching. They've had personnel go up and look at it and then shift away. They actually went to it, then shifted away, and we're looking at it. They've retreated. A lot of moving pieces and parts. Been with you guys here for just over 2 hours with the live. I'll tell you guys, we do have another engagement to be at today. I'm not sure how long. I want to see a piece get cut here. I want to be able to bring you guys that. I'm going to be up against the clock if it doesn't happen here very soon. Almost 2,000 of you here with us. Good morning from Baltimore. Status quo, thank you. Thanks for the kind words. When we've got this kind of activity, I'm glued to it. Much like the people who have found the channel here, and I just find this type of work and what it takes to get it done, the equipment necessary, the personnel, the expertise that you're going to see on the site is just fascinating to watch. We're going down to DC for an Open 90 symposium. We'll be down there for that today. Looking forward to that event. Christian, I would suppose anything is possible. I'm just wondering how practical it would be. You know, that was part of the interstate system with many thousands of cars using it on a daily basis. That'd be a very busy ferry. The process of cutting with that, I know it takes a while, and that's some thick, heavy steel. So hopefully that process is going along well. Typically when we've seen that wire cutter, we've seen water being applied to it. Have not seen the water stream yet. Wayne, come on back. We love you here, and we appreciate everything you bring to our conversation in the chat. I get up every morning, I put my socks on, and I hope to learn something new. That's just the way I've always been brought up. That's the way I approach life. I want to learn something new every day. There are no dumb questions. We answer what we can, and some we don't know. We try to figure them out, and then a lot of times we get a lot of help here from the Minorcan Navy. So we are happy to have you aboard. Thank you so much. I think any branch of the services has opportunities for engineering work, if you were so inclined. The Navy certainly has a great deal of opportunity. We are seeing, looks like now the Baltimore is being pulled away. We'll pan over there to show you guys. The Baltimore looks like she's being relocated. But there are some incredible opportunities. With any of the service branches. Peter, I can't tell if they're actively cutting or whether it is just in position. I know that when they do cut with the cutter, it takes a little while. It takes a little while for the operation. Timmy, that's what we've seen in the past. We've seen them when they're cutting with the wire cutter, we've seen water on it. The Dale Pyatt is a beast. That clam dredger has rustled up some amazing catches in the claw and that clamshell bucket. That's possible, Frank. That's possible. They may have been taking preemptive measures. I'm sure there's some heat generated. If you're just jumping in here, thank you guys for joining us. The Chesapeake 1000 has been rigged to a piece of the bridge span, and they've got a wire cutter that's up on the beam. We've seen some movement of personnel back into that area where that wire cutter is attached. Debris cleanup operations continuing here at the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse site. Still have some cleanup to do to get this area of the channel debris free. Still some debris down there, and they're working on it. We got to look at, Telstra, thank you so much. Look at the Minorcan Navy. That is awesome. Big Mike, thank you. Thank you for being a part of the Minorcan Navy. Almost 2,000 of you here joining. I tell you guys, I'm going to try to stay here. It's probably going to be 10 o'clock when we terminate the live stream today. I got an event that I've got to get myself together, and it takes me a while to break down. Got a little bit of travel time, but I wanted to be able to come in here and show you guys a little bit about today's activity. We've got more rain that looks like it's slowly going to be creeping in an area I'd like to get boxed up. And back out of here before the rain gets. Takes me a little time to get everything together. I can't tell you guys how much I appreciate you guys joining us, the interest in the operations here in Baltimore. Feel very limited. My time in DC is very limited. It's been a while since I've been there. I mean, a long time. Back to my college days. I spent a few days in DC going through some incredible museums there. I'm hoping that we can get the boat on the water tomorrow. Pay a visit to the area of the Dolly up at the berth and take a look and be able to see what we can from up there. Timmy, possible. A lot of it's going to depend on cell bandwidth. If we're able to broadcast from up there, we'll certainly give it a good go. The process of cutting the steel looks like it takes a while with the wire cutter. Bobby, thank you. Thank you for being a part of the stream today. Jay, Tiger occasionally posts on where that happens, how to join. It's on the channel page. Thanks, Tiger. Couple minutes left here in our live stream, and we are going to conclude today's live stream. I gotta give a huge shout out to the moderators here on this channel, the best on YouTube are here a part of this Minorcan Navy. Tiger, Brenner, Teresa, Captain Brian when we have him in. Thank you guys for everything you do. You make my life so much easier. You guys in the chat really don't know how much they help out here. But we certainly appreciate all their efforts coming in here and doing what they do. Thank you, guys. Guys, we're going to terminate the live stream now. Thanks for joining us. You guys are the reason we're here, and we appreciate the involvement here with the channel. Love to see you guys actively involved like you are here in the chat. We'll be back, hopefully, aboard the Minorcan Mullet tomorrow to get you guys some great imagery from up around the Dolly. That's our plan right now. Again, thank you so much for joining us. As always, we want to say, hey, you guys be safe out there.